Greetings, seekers of knowledge. Today we go in search of the Creator. Creator in infinity. The greatness of the cosmos is in its size. It's simple in structure and based on the synchronization and unification of objects. Being attracted in different directions, objects collide and collapse. There is no infinity control mechanism here. There was no directional influence or ordered rouse. Even objects of the same type differ greatly in size and distance. Our galaxy is a vortex and the sun is a charged particle. All this wasn't created forever. We don't notice the changes because our life is just a fleeting moment on the cosmic time scale. There is no global equilibrium at infinity, so we'll look for the Creator within stable systems. For the actions of the Creator, principles of movement, of fulcrum and inertia are needed. It's impossible to create a world out of nothing and influence particles without being composed of them. Everything around happens by inertia emanating from infinity, and the Creator must develop along with the world. Creator's structure. The world process is the unification of small balls into large ones. We came up with a conservation law to take into account their influence. We called repulsion and attraction in the opposite direction. We came up with the direction, choosing several angles of inclination. We divided the Earth's revolution into parts, and comparing it with our lives, called it time. Your unit of time is the moment from reaction to awareness. This is individual due to the different path of impulses. Fast or slow is all relative to us. In space, everything is unique due to its unique infinite environment. We came up with numbers and standards. We generalize everything with a margin of error. A unit of energy is a reaction reaching us. We called the comparison of external and internal reactions information and global principles, physical laws. The world is simple, but due to disasters on the planet, complexity has temporarily arisen. The Creator in space must be simple in structure. The proximity of the Creator. The creatures use standard functions that don't allow them to create complex life on the surface of their particles. And initially it can't exist there due to the synchronization in the body. The universe is a disorganized environment, not an organism, but chaotic accumulations of gas. Internal impulses won't pass through the boundless space. Human impulses don't go beyond the body, and they would take 4 million years to reach the edge of the solar system. People communicate with their imagination. Otherwise, the Creator must direct the streams of particles and be close to us due to interference. The Creator is not a force. Force is not a being, but an indicator of the collective influence of particles. In space, forces are multidirectional, and the universe doesn't have regular forms, so only a part of it could be created. Evolution is an echo of the world reaction, a wave passing through all generations, moving the particles of the dead to a new evolution. We were different beings before, we're alive, and the Creator must still be alive. The Creator is not Jesus. The Creator cannot be omnipresent. The source of our consciousness is the charge of specific particles. They can't be in two personalities. The consciousness of Jesus was in a specific and limited body. There is no mechanism in space for it to subjugate all objects. Even if there was, this process destroyed all objects along the way, but never reached the edges of space because they don't exist. Just as there is no mechanism for infinity to become human. The mind of the Creator. Reason is the highest instinct. We came to the community unconsciously, like many insect colonies. Awareness of images is available to all beings with sensory organs and often occurs in sleep. Reason appeared after catastrophes to create new instincts through others. Changing the principles of movement is even more difficult than gaining it. During the age of dinosaurs, our ancestors didn't have much diversity and were forced to develop limbs. Bird representatives of dinosaurs were able to survive and avoid interspecies struggle. They didn't need transport or fortifications and didn't develop memory. They don't think long. The mind developed mechanically. Like everything around, and unconsciously the creatures learned to make traps and shelters. Many jumps turned into flight. Many injuries gave birth to hardness. The threat to the chicks turned the placenta into an egg. Our body has been mechanically changing for 1 trillion days, and our thinking is just as mechanical. We strain the brain like any other part of the body, and the neurons combine on their own. Awareness and imagination are automatic signals to the organs of perception. With the help of reason, we choose chains of instincts, habitual patterns of behavior. Natural cycles changes are filtered in memory and turned into action. And the creator must also be under external influence. There aren't many problems in space, and intelligence isn't needed to synchronize matter, but it's needed for killing for the sake of survival, and is always limited by the potential of particles. So we're not looking for a superintelligent creator. The art of the creator. People reproduce the best of nature in machinery and on canvas. They didn't build refuges for beauty. In the cold, people remembered the warmth from the skins and the branches pressing them. They combined materials and learned synthesis. Many cuts turned the life-saving logs into boats and ships. The energy enabled them to be lifted into the air. Modern products are the experience of many people and generations. They're a continuation of natural selection. A fallen seed sprouted, a covered plant survived, and volcanoes and lightning produced fire that made food tastier. People didn't become super smart, but they made thinking collective and production multi-stage. They complete the tasks of the past, breaking them into stages. People don't escape the power of instincts, but they exchange personal instincts for collective ones, and can sacrifice themselves. Instinct is experience acquired once for practical purposes, be it speech or sketching a plan. Sometimes it gets too emotional. If the left hemisphere of the brain is responsible for logic, then the right hemisphere is responsible for emotions. Art is the ability to express emotions through learned actions. It balances emotions and encourages one to color even pictures of space because there was clearly no architect in it. Unprogrammed evolution. We develop in cosmic cycles, perceiving them as changes in seasons, weather, and time of day. While we strive to choose the best, the cosmos remains unpredictable, making natural selection a spontaneous survival game. Our particles have existed in various forms of life, moving through nutritional chains. Finding their trace is a great fortune for scientists. Our world is a nesting doll made from different environments that have sculpted our shape. Our organism is a similar environment for development. Our DNA is made up of natural elements created by the gravity of the Earth, Moon, and Sun to evolve within them. At the core of our life and the universe is plasma, and thus we continue our search for a plasma creator. Inertial development. Development programs are a set of chemical elements triggering the necessary responses. The genetic code is the ancient experience of our cells, allowing us to live for a certain period. In nature, creatures gradually phase out, never reaching their genetic limits. They're born in a continuous stream until the cold sets in. The interruption of feeding and the drop in temperature spell death for many. Sunlight and rain can either save or kill, making life an inertial process. Photons from the sun integrate into organisms, prompting activity and division. Therefore, we search not for intentional, but for inertial creation. The form of the creator. Our body has evolved from a cellular sphere and transformed through our desires. Available nutrition has shaped our external and internal contours. We're very limited in movement. Our organs are designed for survival and reproduction. Our shell borrows elements from new environments, changing from transparent like ball lightning to denser like that of a jellyfish. Our appearance reflects the earthly path of evolution and doesn't resemble a cosmic creator. He can only have the simplest form. Unconscious creation. At birth, we transition from an aquatic environment to land. In ancient times, this move reduced competition, but it doesn't align with terrestrial theories of creation. Birth stress leads to awareness, which is why people's memories are often limited to light at the end of a tunnel. Self-awareness is the result of comparing oneself with other objects. Drastic changes and sensory organs are necessary for consciousness, which are absent in the nearby cosmos. Therefore, the Creator can only possess consciousness and feel their uniqueness. The imperfect Creator. Organisms are stable aggregations of particles forced to change with the world, which destroys the solid foundations. Without them, we would be vulnerable to competitors. It's precisely this competition, both at micro and macro levels, that limits our lifespan. Cellular life is a temporary agreement for collective photon survival on our planet. With each division, our cells degrade. An ideal God could have created a perfect world, made us beings of pure energy, and landscapes infinitely diverse. However, in infinity there is neither perfection nor a perfect Creator. Creation for survival. In the existence of our particles, there is no profound meaning. The purpose of our birth is the second life of germ cells. The reason for our birth is the balancing of elements on the planet. By becoming the brain and controlling the body, we explore the world and ourselves in search of instructions. We ponder the meaning because of the finiteness of what is happening. For an eternal, all-knowing God, this is meaningless, but the Creator must have a specific role. The dimensions of the Creator. To create an infinite cosmos, boundless power and matter are required. However, the forms of beings are created by the repulsion of particles and are limited by their potential. A day for the biblical God spans millennia, but there are no structures nearby that rotate at such a speed. When it comes to perception, God must be of a size ranging from Jupiter to the sun. It is the sun that sends us the divine light. The Creator. Photons, unable to compete within the stars, are cast into the cosmos, evolving on planets. Inside every organism lies an electrical network, and its shell allows it to develop in the necessary environment. Our brain is round, and its cells resemble solar ones. Therefore, the first-level Creator is your Father, and the second is our Son. The third-level Creator is unknown, but among the waves that spiral galaxies, there was one most powerful source. Ancient humans prayed to the sun, but it didn't hear them. Today, people turn to the universe filled with such stars, and it doesn't hear them either, and it doesn't need to once you understand the mechanism of evolution. Birth and death are merely the usual reconfiguration of particles on a planet's surface. Like, subscribe, ask. Only here you'll find out the truth.